So it's really beyond obvious at this point that Justin Trudeau only has one play, and he uses it for everything. If you disagree with him on anything, literally anything, tax code, you don't like his shoes, guess what? You're an ist, you're a phobe. That's it. He's got nothing else. And hey, it worked for him in the past. All he needed was hair, teeth, and everybody I don't like is the bad guys from Germany. But hey, doesn't seem to be working so well anymore, and you'd think that perhaps he might come up with something new, some new strategy, but he just can't. I mean, what's he going to do? Brag about the economy? So he's left to do nothing but his old tricks. Yesterday was the Million March for Children in Canada, and this was a protest that was advocating for parental rights in the schools and to voice their displeasure with pseudoscientific gender utter nonsense being presented to their children as fact. But not only that, they're demanding that school boards in Canada inform them, the schools inform the parents if their children decide they are going to have a gender transition in school. The teachers' unions are completely against this because they are cultural revolutionary Marxists and fully a part of the cult, and of course Trudeau opposes this. It seems that he's desperate for teachers to keep secrets from parents about their children's health, which I've got to say is a pretty weird thing to want. Now, before we continue, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the channel, especially if you're watching on Rumble. Thanks a lot. Now, he tweeted this yesterday about the protests in Canada. He said, "Let me make one thing very clear. Transphobia, homophobia, and biphobia? Biphobia. I don't think I've heard him come up with that one before. But anyway, apparently they have no place in this country. We strongly condemn this hate and its manifestations, and we stand united in support of all of the letters, Canadians across the country. You are valid and you are valued. This has nothing to do with what the protests were about. It wasn't about hate. It wasn't about the, 2SLG. Look, nobody even knows what Two-Spirit is, okay? So how can you be mad at it? It wasn't about lesbians, gays, anybody. It was about parents not wanting their kids indoctrinated in schools into a pseudoscientific gender cult. This is a giant social experiment being conducted on an entire generation of children. We don't know what the consequences will be of confusing an entire generation of children about gender. But you might wonder, is there really that much hate? Where is all this hate coming from? I mean, there can't be that many Canadians that are so full of hate. Well, let's take a look at this Angus Reid poll. Well, the blue and the gray here are Canadians who feel like parents should at least be informed of a gender transition in school, if not, be required to give their consent. And across Canada, it's 78%. And this isn't just parents they're polling here. This is across all Canadians. So apparently here he's saying in this tweet that if you agree with the protesters, you're one of the phobes. Well, that's 78% of Canadians. I'm not sure this is a great re-election strategy, I gotta be honest. But you'll notice there's one phobe that is conspicuously missing out of this tweet. For some reason, he didn't throw in Islamophobe. Isn't that strange? That was his favorite word for like almost a decade. And I wonder why that is. Well, here's an article from True North. A mass nationwide protest against gender ideology took place throughout Canada on Wednesday. The organizers, a group of Muslim parents who have had enough of the radical gender ideology craze, named the coordinated protest the 1 Million March for Children. And again, it's not just Muslim parents that are opposed to teachers keeping secrets from parents. It's 78% of the country. But these protests were organized by Muslims. They're front and center. Yeah, and because of that, you're not going to see Trudeau throwing around Islamophobe anymore. That one's gone now. And apparently has been replaced with biphobia. I mean, he's really getting desperate. Now, I would say to Trudeau that, maybe instead of, throwing a Twitter tantrum, sit down with your advisors and try and come up with some sort of plan that Canadians don't hate. But we know that's not going to happen. He's just going to keep on alienating even more Canadians, seemingly until everybody who's not a diehard Truanon really does become a phobe. A Trudeau-phobe. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. Sharing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.